Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, September 23, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be taking out what the US Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook is showing for today. Just came out today, September 23, from the forecaster known as Saharan. And what they're showing is that from the time period from October 1 to October 7, we're experiencing some greens across the main development region into the Western Caribbean and the Southern Gulf. That's what's expected. So we know the light shades of greens, as we saw there, represents just a 50% chance of above normal rainfall probability. And look at the time period after that, October 8 to October 14, even more rainfall increasing, extending from the western main development region across all of the Caribbean into the Gulf again. And we also see a lot of red and white patterns over there in the western Caribbean and the eastern Pacific. We saw the red and white patterns across the eastern Pacific for the October to October 7 time frame, and we also saw it across the main development region. So you know what that could mean, maybe some more tropical waves pushing through, possibly developing the more they push out towards the west. Very interesting, because know that the red and white patterns represent what we see here on the key on the bottom. That is a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation probability. We know that it is not set in stone. And they're also showing the 20% chance of cyclone formation probability across the Western Caribbean into the Gulf, and still across the Eastern Pacific, where we're even seeing just full-on reds over there. Don't even get me started on the Western Pacific. They're always active over there. But as you can see, interesting times ahead as we head throughout the next 3 weeks. And we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt, because it is not all the time that these global tropics hazards outlook actually come to fruition. If we actually look at the one that was posted just a couple of weeks ago, this was valid for the time frame from September 17 to September 23. What date is today? September 23. And look what was predicted. We had some tropical cyclone formation probability expected across the main development region. Into the northeastern Caribbean, we saw an increase in rainfall. I guess we could say that's about to verify, given the amount of tropical wave activity that we see here. One right here, now designated Invest 94L. To the east of that, Invest 93L. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out for sure. And I will definitely be here to keep you posted with whatever occurs. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:41 p.m. Jamaica time. We now have a code red right here. It was a code yellow, then it became a code orange. Now it's a code red. It's expected to cross through the Leeward Islands tonight into tomorrow, passing just to the north of Puerto Rico, passing just north of Hispaniola, where it will make its way into this hatched area right here. That's across the southwestern Atlantic, the southeastern portion of Cuba into the Bahamas, where it has a high chance of development. And we still have that other code red right here across the main development region. That still has a chance, a high chance at that, of developing the more it pushes out towards the northwest as well. And to the north of all of this, we still have Hurricane Gabrielle. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite imagery, we can definitely make out all of these entities, the clouds associated with that tropical wave that now has a high chance of development, now lashing portions of the Lesser Antilles, and the other tropical wave just to the east of that one that has a high chance of development within the next 7 days. And look at Hurricane Gabrielle, still looking quite formidable as we speak. We can even see some lightning in and around the center of circulation. Very interesting system. but it is only going to be affecting the fish out at sea as it continues to make its way towards the northeast. But let us read the latest here from the Hurricane Center about these two tropical waves. So the Hurricane Center has stated, a tropical wave over the extreme northeastern Caribbean Sea continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms and gusty winds across much of the Windward and Leeward Islands. This wave is expected to move west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour, spreading heavy rainfall and gusty winds into Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tonight and Wednesday, and across the Dominican Republic beginning late Wednesday. The system is then expected to slow down and turn northwestward when it reaches the southwestern Atlantic in a couple of days. Environmental conditions are forecast to be more conducive for development late this week, and a tropical depression is likely to form when the disturbance is in the vicinity of the Bahamas. Interest in the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas should monitor the progress of this system, and with that they've given the area a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Regarding the other code red to the east of that one, they've stated shower and thunderstorm activity associated with a tropical wave located about 750 miles east of the Leeward Islands has become better organized since yesterday. Environmental conditions are forecast to be favorable for further development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days while the system moves west-northwestward to northwestward into the western tropical Atlantic, well north of the Leeward Islands. And with that, they've given the area a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 90% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. So it definitely has a higher chance than the other one to its west for the next 2 days. So it still definitely acquire the next name after Gabriel, which is Humberto. We'll see it actually plays out. Will the other one beat it out? We'll see. So as stated, this one that is affecting the Lesser Antilles is now designated Invest 94L. We know that when they're Invest, that means the Hurricane Center, is sending out planes. They're investigating these areas of low pressure to see what's really happening down there, and then they're able to run special supercomputer models on these systems. So we get the spaghetti models and the ensembles. That's what we like to see. As of right now, there is some circulation down in here spinning, but we don't have a lot of thunderstorm associated with the center of circulation. Most of the thunderstorms are to the east of there. We're having some amount of shear affecting the system. As of right now, the Euro ensemble spaghetti model plots from today are showing that it should push out towards west-northwest, just like what the Hurricane Center has stated, if not to the north of Puerto Rico, where it's expected to develop. And look how the spaghetti models start to spread out. As a matter of fact, we see one coming right down in here between Haiti and Cuba. We know that's not going to happen. We're working with what majority of the models are showing, and right now they're pushing and coming closer a bit to the Bahamas, and maybe possibly going out to sea. Or will they actually make it towards the US? We'll see it actually plays out. The GFS ensembles, or the GFS spaghetti model plots, are taking the system across Puerto Rico instead of moving to the north of there, to the north of Hispaniola, coming close to the east of the Bahamas. Very interesting. We'll see how that plays out. But regarding the intensity model guidance, as of right now, they're not really believing in the fact that it will become a tropical storm within the next 2 days, just like what the Hurricane Center has stated. But definitely after that, maybe around the almost 4-day time frame, we see that majority of the supercomputer models are getting up there in the greens. That represents tropical storm status. Very interesting. Regarding Invest 93L, we see that we have a lot more convection associated with this system near the center of circulation. A lot more reds into the blacks, into the grays, into the purples. A lot of thunderstorm clouds right in here. As you can see here, the Euro spaghetti model plots are in agreement that the system should continue pushing towards the west-northwest, if not the northwest, right here, coming a bit too close for comfort to Bermuda over in here. But clearly, definitely going to be passing to the north of the Caribbean. The GFS spaghetti model plus also in agreement regarding the same track, and then towards the northeast, just like what the Euro did. And regarding the intensity model guidance, Invest 93L definitely in agreement that most of the models should make it up to, well, most of the models are taking the system up to tropical storm status within the next 2 days. So maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow, it could definitely acquire the name Humberto. And the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are in agreement now. Yesterday, the GFS not so much, but now the GFS is starting to see both entities. Keep in mind that this is valid for 0Z on Monday, September 29, which is actually 7 p.m. on Sunday, September 28. And this is where the, well, Euro has future more than likely 94L, which should become Imelda, because it is the one to the east of that is showing that it could develop first, which is Humberto. So 93L becomes Humberto right here. We can definitely see how well defined they are. Imelda coming very close to the Bahamas, a lot of rain showers and thunderstorms right here, and trust me, the close passage of the system to Jamaica could definitely, influence the weather across the island. So not the usual easterly flow of winds and the usually western parishes getting on that afternoon rainfall. We could get on some different kind of weather patterns. Regarding what the GFS is showing, there has been a lot of talk about what the GFS has been showing. First of all, the GFS has future Imelda right in here. We see a lot of isobars. We don't see crazy rainfall though, like what the Euro was showing, but it is definitely in the same vicinity like where the Euro showed. The other system, that's 93L future Humberto, should be just to the slight west of where the Euro has it. We see a lot of moisture. Look at all of the moisture that should be taking place in the era. Very interesting, very interesting. And I mentioned that there's been a lot of talk because look how close the systems are. Many people are referring to the fact that the proximity between the systems could cause somewhat of a Fujiwara effect, where the proximity of the systems would cause the circulations to start to intertwine and spin around each other. So this would go like this, and this one would go like this, and try to spin around each other and dance until possibly one absorbs the other. Not necessarily getting bigger or combining into one big hurricane, but just absorbing it and then possibly, maintaining the same intensity or even a weaker intensity, considering that it becomes a broader area of low pressure. But we'll see it actually plays out. This isn't the first time this happened. I remember when we had one of the Greek alphabet storms in 2005, something similar happened up at the same spot right here to the north of the Hispaniola area. So it's going to be very interesting to see all of this plays out, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see an airflow pressure right here off the east coast of the US, numerous troughs as represented by the broken orange lines extending down to Florida and the Bahamas. Hurricane Gabrielle right in here. As a matter of fact, didn't even mention Gabrielle. Gabrielle is still formidable. Let me see if I can find the information, because Gabrielle is still quite a formidable hurricane. As you can see here, still spinning away, pushing away, still looking, like that classic hurricane look. We see the eye right in there for sure. And as of right now, the latest from the Hurricane Center states that Gabrielle is still a major hurricane, packing 125 mile per hour winds. And we know that systems that usually pack anywhere from 111 to 129 mile per hour winds are classified as a major category 3 hurricane. So it's way up there in the intensity for sure, as you can see there. Let's see if I can find back Gabrielle. Where did it go? There we go. So yes, the Hurricane Center stated that it is a category 3 right now, moving towards the east northeast at 21 miles per hour. Should it go back down to a hurricane, category 1, category 2. So we see the H's here. M we know represents major hurricane status, and look at that, we have hurricane watches up in the pinks for portions of the Azores Islands. Yes, we have a lot of people who live or work in this area, and then it should become a tropical storm after passing the Azores before pushing into southwestern Europe. Very interesting. We'll see it actually plays out. I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. So back to the surface map. So thanks for the surface map for reminding me about Gabrielle. Yes, Gabrielle's still out there. We have a tropical wave right in here. This is the same tropical wave that now has a high chance of development, that Invest 94L and Invest 93L right here to the east of there. There's actually another tropical wave right here to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, and all of these entities are either being steered from east to west, or southeast to northwest, or east southeast to west northwest, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, the clouds associated with the trough affecting portion of the northern Bahamas, Florida into Cuba. The clouds associated with Gabrielle quickly pushing off towards the northeast. The clouds associated with Invest 94L, definitely a decent looking tropical wave right there, bringing some decent rainfall to the Lesser Antilles as we speak. And the clouds associated with that other tropical wave just to the east of that tropical wave. Very interesting times ahead. Let's see how it actually plays out. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, September 23, 2025. It just states that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some eastern parishes on Tuesday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes on Tuesday afternoon. I know that eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? Not much took place in the morning, but during the afternoon, the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the clouds, the showers and thunderstorms mainly across section of some central and western parishes just as predicted. So areas like northwestern St. Andrew, section of northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon and central Clarendon, section of central to northern Manchester, central to northern St. Elizabeth, sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James. Definitely got on some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, and we see the sparkling yellow dust that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost sunlight, you can see where we had that burst of convection mainly across sections of some central and western parishes for sure. Some of this activity pushing into the west once again to bring those areas some more rainfall, and we can see that even better on the infrared. First we saw some thunderstorms out west, then some thunderstorms across the central areas that started to push west. So I guess Hanover got a second dose of thunderstorms during the afternoon. Can you confirm from Ryan? And we have also the Jamaican Doppler radar is back up and running. Glad to see it. The Doppler radar show the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images. I know that we can have clouds over an area and not necessarily rainfall, so it's good that we have the Doppler radar to show us the rainfall. We know the greens represents the light to moderate rainfall, the yellows into the oranges, that's that heavy to very heavy rainfall. And we saw at first where we had the rainfall out west, as you can see here, Westmoreland, Hanover, southern St. James. Then look at this, south central parishes. We're talking about those very areas that we mentioned: northern St. Catherine, northern and central Clarendon, northern and central Manchester, northern and central St. Elizabeth. Getting in on that rainfall, we saw the rain bands into the greens, into the yellows, into the oranges. That's some moderate to some heavy rainfall, and you see all of the activity pushing out towards the west. And then we saw that decent rainfall pushing into southern St. James, into Hanover and Westmoreland as we started to reach the recording hour. Regarding the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel, this is showing Little London in Westmoreland at around 14:42. That's 2:42 p.m. Look at that, where we were getting some moderate to slightly heavy rainfall. Windshield wipers definitely on. You can see the ponding on the road as usual. Westmoreland always getting rainfall, as you can see there. I'm sure that they're grateful for the little cool down that they got today. One individual right here with their umbrella. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture for we might have had that rainfall today, mainly across sections of some central and western parishes for sure. And we have a few comments that came in from some of our followers. We have Ivory Reed stating a thunder alone me here in Portmore. We have Eileen Ben stating yes, it rain praises. We have Randale stating good evening weather Jamaica. We got some rain and thunderstorm in Brownstown, St. Anne. Thanks for confirming, Randale. We also have Naiki Ben stating rain in Clarendon. Jerome stating rain in Clarendon as well. Thank you all for confirming what has been taking place. Alright, so we're going to be reloading the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, the latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar. We want to see exactly what's taking place now. Alright, so the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, look at that. We're actually getting some decent strong thunderstorms out west. Section of Westmoreland into Hanover still getting on the thunderstorms. And keep in mind that this is valid for 0015 UTC. That is 7:15 p.m. So this just came out, what, about 15-17 minutes ago. As a matter of fact, there's one that's supposed to show 7:25 p.m. if I actually reload it right now. So let me reload it once again because it is 7:32 and they usually come out at this time. There we go. There we go. So even more thunderstorms. So 0025 UTC, even more thunderstorms out west as we speak. They're getting it. They are getting a lot of lightning too. I wonder if I load up the Rick's Cafe cam, if it would show me, because that's some crazy thunderstorms. And we know that Rick's Cafe is out there in Negril. Has the lightning gotten to that area as yet? Let us see. Can I even full screen? There we go. I think I saw a flash of lightning somewhere over this side. Yes, there we go. A lot of lightning taking place over there. Now, it might not necessarily be getting the rainfall as yet, but they're definitely getting on the thunderstorms out there. We see the lightning, so it all makes sense. Look at that lightning. Definitely, I wish we could move these little thumbnails at the top so that we could see the lightning. A lot of lightning taking place for sure. Definitely confirming what we're seeing here on the latest info. It's at 7:25 p.m. Definitely festive. A lot of thunderstorms taking place out west as we speak. And we're definitely going to be seeing the Jamaican Doppler radar mirroring the same thing. Look at the heavy rainfall that's taking place out west as we speak. We can see the yellows into the oranges into the reds. That's some heavy to very heavy, even more than heavy rainfall. Wouldn't be surprised if it is like freak storm kind of activity taking place across western Westmoreland, western Hanover as we speak. Some decent, strong, heavy rainfall out west right now. Unfortunately, the the Cuban Doppler radar looks like it glitched out at around 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is actually 3:50 p.m. Jamaica time. So nothing to see here right now. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar showing where we had some rainfall across sections of southeastern Cuba today. The blues into the greens into the yellows, some light to moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. And we also saw some rain bands right here across the western peninsula of Haiti. Regarding the Cayman radar, I'm pretty sure the Cayman radar is going to confirm that decent rainfall across the far western end. Look at that. Greens into the yellows, some moderate to some heavy rainfall at the end of the loop right in here across western Jamaica. So they're definitely getting it across the far western end of the island as we speak. We also see some rain bands across section of Cuba, some isolated hit or miss light to moderate rain bands right here to the west of the Cayman Islands. Regarding what's taking place right now, the live camera from C Jamaica's YouTube channel. So we're pleased to announce that we have a new live camera around there showing the halfway tree transport center and basically all of the the pedestrian crossings and so on and so forth here in halfway tree. Nicely placed camera right here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to see myself when I'm in halfway tree sometimes. But yes, this is a well-placed camera for sure. We can see everything, all of the people walking, any little foolishness that's going to be taking place on the road. We have a nice view. Wish we had this view when we had the whole flood on Friday. It would have been very interesting to see, but most of the cameras were down at that time. So as of right now, as you can see here, definitely fair weather taking place across this part of St. Andrew. Nothing new of bad weather should be taking place, and this should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 20. Well, 4 a.m. on Wednesday, are you sure? Hold on, let me see. 4 a.m. on Wednesday, is this right? I'm pretty sure that earlier I saw it go down to 26. I don't know why it's still showing 28. Must be a glitch, because there's no way 4 a.m. is still that hot. No way. Yeah man, definitely some kind of glitch. I'm not seeing the temperature is changing at all. It's stuck at 28. Alright, no problem. Either way, the temperature forecast for tomorrow from the GFS right here is showing 18 on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday, and we see Jamaica right here shaded in the oranges that represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica is around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.2 to 34.2 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. And unfortunately, we have a lot of maintenance outage advisories here from my GPS online Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Wednesday, September 24, 2025. We're referring to Negril Lighthouse in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also referring to Sturge Town in St. Anne from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Nairn Castle in St. Anne from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also expecting outages Sandy Ground and Connors in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Troy to St. Vincent in Manchester from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Chesterfield, Stonehenge, Lower Belfont, Ginger Hill, Claremont, Mary Hill, cell site at Ginger Hill will be affected in the parish of St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Woodside Drive from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're also expecting an outage in Dean Pen to Fraser in St. Mary from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Dean Pen to Killanshawley District in St. Mary as well from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And finally, we have Stewart Castle in Trelawney, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Granville in Trelawney, that's in Back Road, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see the dry air extending all the way from Africa across the main development region. We also see some dry air that's expected across the central to the southern Caribbean. We know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. But we like that we're seeing a lot of blows here and there across the southwestern Atlantic, into the Gulf, into the western Caribbean, to the eastern Caribbean, into the main development region in and around Central America. All of where we see the blues, that's where we have the gray clouds, and wherever we have the clouds, that's where we have the rainfall, and that's what we want more of. We want more moist air so that we get more clouds to bring us more rainfall to keep water in our pipes and to cool down our temperatures. But regarding the next 3 days about the Saharan dust, we're heading into September 24, September 25, and September 26. And over that 3-day time frame, we should see Jamaica right here in the clear for the most part, even although the eastern Caribbean should be getting on some slight Saharan dust in the greens, into the yellows, into the slight oranges pushing through. Some slight hazy conditions definitely expected over there. But it is nothing really significant to trigger respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis, or even, have us see hazy skies at all. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing that across the Caribbean we're experiencing the light shades of blues to darker shades of blues, representing anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1, maybe up to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more of an easterly flow tomorrow. Looks kind of like southeasterly flow right here into the northeastern Caribbean where we're at Puerto Rico. Well, southeasterly flow, not northeasterly flow. More of an easterly flow right here across the Caribbean, central to the western areas, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, maybe even gusting up to 25 knots in some spots. But regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow for Jamaica, to the north of Portland, up to 0.8 of a meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.7 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 0.9 of a meter wave height. And to the south of St. Thomas, we have up to 1 meter wave height expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more of a northeasterly, if not east-northeasterly flow on the north coast tomorrow, averaging up to 10 knots here to the north of St. Anne. The south coast averaging 9 knots from the east, and we see where the air is expected to pile up across inland areas of some central and western parishes. So that is where some of these low-level clouds could become mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, when we have that daytime heating during the afternoon. And we also see that the upper-level winds are going to be coming in from the south. So if we actually get some thunderstorms that formulate during the afternoon, tomorrow we could get those clouds being pushed off towards the north. As you can see here, the clouds kind of fanned out in each direction, but tomorrow the clouds will be pushing out towards the north, definitely bringing more overcast skies, if not some more rainfall to second of some northern parishes. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. On the Euro, we're seeing the blues represent rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. GFS making more sense. It's looking more like western and central parishes, with the exception of some western portions of some eastern parishes. So we're talking about Hanover, Westmoreland, sections of northern St. Elizabeth, central to northern Manchester, central to northern Clarendon, sections of St. Catherine, section of central to southern St. Anne, section of Trelawney, St. James, section of southern St. Mary, western Portland, section of St. Andrew and Kingston, and western portions of St. Thomas. Interesting. So is that eastern, central, western parishes, or is that just mainly central and western parishes? We'll say it plays out. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps. So we just showed the 1 hour total showing 3 p.m. But these maps here are showing all the rainfall that's expected to pile up from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now up until then, but within the next 24 hours, these are the spots that should be picking up that rainfall. We see up to 0.36 of an inch of rainfall here on the Euro. The GFS going up to at least 0.4, maybe even 0.5 of an inch of rainfall, especially in the orange areas out west. We'll see it plays out, and whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of September. And in St. James, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we will receive around 192 millimeters of rainfall in September. That's about 7.6 inches of rainfall. In St. Anne, we usually receive around 155 millimeters of rainfall during the month of September. That's around 6.1 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of September or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website will show you that information. And we're going to be moving on now to what's expected over the next 7 days, based on what the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are showing that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here as we go to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Wednesday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Thursday. And this is where the Euro has Invest 94L. By Thursday, we see the shower and thunderstorm activity, the greens into the yellows, some moderate to heavy rainfall that should be affecting Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands at that time. We also see that other area to the east northeast of there, that's Invest 93L, a strong tropical wave that also has a high chance of development. So 7 a.m. on Thursday, September 25, not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica. A lot of whites representing no rainfall at all. But by Thursday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across sections of some, looks like central and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, maybe some isolated showers out northeast. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Interesting. What do we see on Friday morning? Friday morning, look at where Invest 94L should be, just to the north of Haiti, to the east of Cuba. Interesting, a bit too close to comfort to Jamaica. We could get in on the influence of the circulation, and not the usual easterly flow. We'll see what that plays out, but nothing at that time, according to the Euro. Then by Friday afternoon, look at that rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. Weather pattern is definitely going to be very interesting on Friday. What does the GFS show? Friday morning, maybe some rainfall across the northeast. Didn't see that on the Euro. But by Friday afternoon, just like what the Euro showed, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Very interesting. What do we see on Saturday morning? On Saturday morning, on the Euro, not really seeing much of anything. A lot of moisture to our east and to our northeast, though we have 94L. Then on Saturday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? On Saturday morning, a lot of rainfall to our east and to our south. Then on Saturday afternoon, look at that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes once again. What do we see on Sunday morning? On Sunday morning, look how formidable Invest 94L should be getting. That's future Imelda. Don't really see much of anything on the Euro for Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon we see rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes once again. What do we see on the GFS? Sunday morning, maybe some rainfall to our east. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. We see a lot of moisture over here. Very interesting. What do we see on Monday morning? Monday morning, not really much of anything on the Euro. Monday afternoon, however, we see rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes, and we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, September 30. We actually see some moisture across the far eastern end. Very formidable systems, twin cyclones just to the east of the US. And could they actually do that Fujiwara effect? We'll see. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, look at them starting to dance already around each other. Either way, Jamaica at that time, moisture surrounding us. Then on Monday afternoon, we see what looks like maybe northern and central and western parishes. Look at where future Imelda should be starting to do that dance to the, towards the right or towards the east, and then that other system towards the west, and then possibly absorbing it in general. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, September 30, and we see the moisture across the Jamaica area. Very interesting. We see some differences though. So Tuesday, September 30, the Euro has two systems. Tuesday, September 30, the GFS looks like it has one system. One absorbs the other. Very interesting. We'll say it actually plays out. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here for the next 7 days, clearly the GFS is showing the most rainfall across portions of the Caribbean. You see the dark reds into the purples into the pinks. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall or more. We're also seeing the usual same rainfall totals across Northern South America into Central America. The Euro kind of showing something similar regarding those same spots, and we know that is all courtesy of the tropical waves that are trying to develop. We'll see it actually plays out, and it will definitely be fine-tuned even more as soon as we get something to form. As you can see, the other areas extending from the Gulf, Florida into the Bahamas, Cuba, Central, Yucatan into the Cayman Islands, into the Windward Islands for the most part, should be getting on those yellows into the oranges and the reds. That represents up to 1 inch of rainfall or less. But regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Tuesday, September 30. And on the Euro, we see Jamaica shaded in the greens and slight yellows, representing anywhere from 15 all the way up to maybe 30 millimeters of rainfall. GFS a bit more than that, representing, showing the yellows into the oranges. That represents anywhere from 30 all the way up to maybe 60 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see it actually plays out. And whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. And I'm hoping that you're noticing the abundance of rainfall that's expected out to sea between Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti because of the system that should be passing close by. We'll see what all of this plays out. We could definitely get more rainfall than what is predicted for sure. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Regarding what's happening across the rest of the Caribbean, as stated, a tropical wave definitely bringing some decent rainfall to the Lesser Antilles as we speak, with more rainfall tonight into tomorrow expected. Let us see what the Doppler radar imagery down there is showing. I'm sure it's formidable. Look at the amount of rainfall affecting St. Kitts and Nevis, affecting of Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda. We also see not really much of anything is affecting Puerto Rico right now. But earlier today, we saw some rain bands across central to southwestern Puerto Rico, some moderate to heavy rainfall. And we also see some rain bands right in here to the east of majority of the Lesser Antilles Islands, definitely affecting Barbados for sure. Regarding what's taking place here on the Barbados radar right now, Barbados is in the clear. Majority of the rainfall is now to the north of there. We also see a lot of moderate to heavy rainfall that affected section of the Grenadines today, northern portion of Grenada. We also saw some rain bands that affected section of Dominica as well. And regarding the weather view of Doppler radar images, as stated, we have some rainfall across Florida, northern portion of the Bahamas, section of Cuba. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the year and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can clearly see that the brunt of tomorrow's rainfall should be affecting portions of Puerto Rico, the Eastern British Virgin Islands, majority of the Leeward Islands for sure. So St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda. We also see some rainfall, and we know that this rainfall could definitely trigger somewhat of isolated flash flooding in some spots. So some more rainfall definitely expected for portion of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Barbados. We also see the usual rainfall across section of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan. We also see some rainfall expected for portions of Florida into the Bahamas, section of Cuba, sections of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, section of Jamaica as we mentioned earlier. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. Only that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so regarding what's taking place on the Eastern Pacific side of things, we are now watching Hurricane Narda. As you can see here to the southwest of Mexico, infrared right here, definitely looking interesting. We see what looks like an eye trying to clear out. Wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a major hurricane. As of right now, not expected to become a major hurricane, but don't be surprised if tomorrow we see some M's in there. So as of right now, it is packing 85 mile per hour winds. So that would make Narda a category 2 hurricane. Well, not category 2, category 1. I'm mixing it up with the knot. So 74 to 95 mile per hour wind, representing category 1 status. Wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow is a category 3, 4, or 5. It's looking like it's getting there, because we know that intensity model guidance isn't really the hurricane center strong suit. As of right now, we see how huge the wind field is at tropical storm force wind in the gold, but we see that it's not going to be affecting land at all, currently moving towards the west at 13 miles per hour. But what's happening on the western Pacific side of things? We still have super typhoon Ragasa that lashed portion of Taiwan and the Philippines over the past 24 hours. Section of the southeastern Philippines is also experiencing another system, newly formed tropical depression Bualoy. That's a weird name. It is right there across the waters to the east of the southern Philippines, and we still have that other system to the northeast or to the east of Japan. So to the northeast of the tropical depression, to the east of Japan, that is Typhoon Neoguri. We can see them all even better on the infrared right here. Ragasa, the new tropical depression Neoguri, still pushing out towards the east as we speak. Ragasa definitely closing in on southern China as we speak. A lot of moisture. It was definitely the formidable system. As of right now, the new tropical depression is expected to cross the entire Philippines, possibly increasing in intensity. We see it is currently packing 30 knot winds right now, so definitely tropical depression status should make it up to 70 knot winds, as you can see here, before it pushes through the Philippines. Don't be surprised if it overachieves and does even more than the 70 knots that are predicted. 70 knots would make it category 1 hurricane. Wouldn't be surprised if it is more than that. Regarding the other system, that is Neoguri, we see it right here. Still not really sure exactly what's going to be taking place. We see how slow it's going to be moving. I mean, look at the dates. We're seeing 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. These are the dates where the system should be located. Still sitting here just to the east of Japan, moving slowly. Then by around September 27 to September 28, it should start pushing up towards the northeast very quickly, as you can see right there. Still maintaining the 65 knots, 50. What does that represent? That's around the tropical storm, if not the category 1 hurricane status. But regarding Super Typhoon Ragasa, it is currently packing 150 knot winds right here to the south of Hong Kong, pushing towards the west, if not the west northwest as we speak. So it's definitely going to be brushing the coast and then pushing inland, definitely bring a lot of rainfall, bad weather, the portion of southern China as it pushes into Vietnam right there. It has been quite the formidable system. First, it passed to the north of the Philippines, and trust me, it has been bringing so much rainfall to Taiwan. We even have footage. This is Weather Chasing Brandon, and I saw Volcaholic reposted it. Look at the heavy rainfall. First of all, that Hong Kong is already receiving from Ragasa, and Ragasa is way out at sea. That's some heavy rainfall, raining sideways, strong winds, as you can see there. But this is what we're talking about. Taiwan has been flooding out because of Ragasa. Look at the crazy floods taking place in Taiwan. This is crazy, all because of the outer bands of the system. And that's not the only footage. Here's another one right here. This afternoon, severe flooding has struck Ampho, Mei Chim, Chiang Mai province. Oh, this is Thailand. I thought this was Taiwan. Here's the one that we're talking about. Disastrous flooding is occurring after the Guangfu Mai Tian landslide dam collapsed in Hualien, Taiwan. So here we have the correct footage. This is a lot of rainfall. We have more footage in Taiwan. Look at the crazy flooding that has been taking place. This is just crazy, all because of that typhoon. Here we have another one. Super Typhoon Ragasa passing near Taiwan caused this. Look at the crazy damage. Look at the footage. We don't want to experience anything like that. Here we have another one right here happening now. The current situation in Guangfu Township, Hualien County, Taiwan, is that the barrier lake has collapsed and the village is filled with elderly residents. My goodness gracious. Oh my god, we don't want to hear anything about any death tolls or anything like that, but look how high the waters are up to the roofs. That is just crazy. That's a lot of rainfall that they got over there, all because of that typhoon. Alright, so we just hope for the best. Let's see how it actually plays out. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.